Hey everyone, welcome to Theo and Tito podcast. We're your hosts, Eric and Leo, and we have a special guest today. We have our really good friend Reggie with us. Reggie,
Ooh.
yeah, Reggie, thanks for joining us,
Ooh.
man. For those that don't know Reggie, he's a really good friend of ours. Personally, I met him around the same time that I met Leo. So him, his family, his wife, they're really close to us. We love having him in our lives. And yeah, we're just very excited to have you on this episode today, where we're going to talk about having multiple kids. So first of all, I want to say congrats to both you and Leo on baby number two. That's exciting, right?
That's one word. Yeah.
Exciting. I think the excitement settles in later, maybe.
No, it's definitely been an exciting time.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's
yeah,
multiple emotions, and yeah, we'll get into that, I guess.
yeah. First, just want to talk a little bit about Reggie. Reggie, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Reggie. I'm also from Mira Mesa, like Leo.
Yeah.
Um, I currently I work in video production, so I kind of have that's why I have a nice little setup here.
That's why he has
Um,
better cameras than us.
Showing us up.
it just happened to be ready for a podcast at all times.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so I do that currently. I also own my own coffee shop in
Hey,
downtown La Jolla and
so good.
called Unison Coffee. That's my coffee blend right here. So, yeah,
Nice.
That one blend
that one blend right there.
sponsored.
Sponsored. Yeah.
I was like, we don't make enough money for that yet. Yeah, and yeah, so I balance working full time, owning a business, and having two kids.
Yeah. That's
Damn,
awesome.
that's adulting right there, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
don't know how you
crazy.
guys do it. I personally, I actually brought this up to Lily earlier. Like, I don't know how you do it with your family and trying to start a new business. Like, it's hard enough to do it without a family, and then it's just next level seeing you like just be consistent with Unison Coffee and really pushing for that. And now you guys have a actual location, which is awesome to see, and to see you guys growing. Like, that's a lot of dedication and hard work, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thankfully, I have three other business partners,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
it's not just me.
Mhm.
If it were, I don't think it would be possible. Um, but I do have three other business partners who I lean on heavily. But I do a lot of things remotely,
Mhm.
which is a weird thing for a coffee shop, but we make it work. I do a lot of like menu design, meaning like I
Mm.
shape our menu and yeah, so I get to kind of have my hands on coffee shop from home since I have my own like espresso machine and stuff from here. So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So I think a lot of people on this show already kind of know uh our stories. At least they know Toby, they know Isaiah, they know about my twin girls. But I just want to hear a little bit about Max, right? About if you want to just kind of share your story of Max's arrival into your life, first son, how that felt, and kind of what it meant for you, both now as a dad, but also if you want to bring in like aspects of your faith, of your family, any of that. What did it mean to you to first become a dad?
Oh man, that's a lot at one time.
Yeah.
Um, I would say, man, wow, yeah, that's a lot. I didn't have the best father figure of my own. Um, I have just to for context, I have seven brothers and sisters. They're all half siblings, and between the seven or eight of us, we all have like four different moms, I think.
Mm,
So that just for context
yeah.
of what I mean by that. Me and my dad are in a good place now, but that's kind of like where I'm coming from as like a son and as a man. And growing up, I knew that I always wanted to be a father. And but then when I was probably about 20 years old, I think, I was like, but God, did you mean father?
Yeah.
And that was like a weird time because I was in a relationship.
Yeah.
uh, so I did in San Diego. We have what's called an Explorer Day. So while I was in that relationship, I went to Explorer Day, and I was like, I don't know, it's kind of weird to try to discern while I have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So um, I was kind of like co-discerning at the same time,
Hmm.
and it was a weird time. Like for a little while, it was like a weird time. Um, and I think my I was just like really conflicted for a while, and for um, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that long of a time. It was probably like 6 months or so.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, or at the end of that summer, we just called it quits because I was like, I kind of just need to be single so I can
Hmm.
actually discern or to figure it out on my own. And yeah, so a year later, Jasmine and I got together, and obviously we've been together ever since. And to be a father, man, yeah, I think, and also a little bit more context to that, Jasmine and I kind of had a little like dating history when we were in high school.
Okay.
Just for like a very small brief time. But then like when we got back together in 2012, we were like, I was just like, oh dang, I think I'm gonna marry Jasmine.
Hmm.
Like in 2013, I went to Europe, and when I was in France and Paris, I was like, I'm gonna propose to Jasmine. I know it. Like I didn't think it was gonna be. I thought I was gonna propose to Jasmine in Paris at some point in time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't. But like that's kind of where my mind was at the time.
Hmm.
So like in 2013, I was like, all right, I'm gonna marry Jasmine. So like in my mind, I'm like, fatherhood, like for real. Like I'm gonna
Yes.
be a
Yeah.
father at some point in time, God willing. So you know, we dated for 7 years, I think, 5 years before I proposed. And when we got married in 2019, we knew that we both wanted to be parents like pretty quick. Um, and then COVID happened in March 2020, and we got pregnant at some point in 2020. But like I said, we wanted to be pregnant, so it's
Yeah.
um, yeah. And Max was born in April 2021, April 6th, 2021. So yeah, I mean, to have a son was like the coolest thing
Yeah.
because like I don't know, like I guess there's somewhere in every guy's heart, I think, to say like he wanted a son first. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. That's I was the same.
Like everybody's always like, oh, I don't care. Like as long, whatever is like, I like it doesn't matter. And I think it's true. Like for real, it's true.
Yeah.
But like somewhere deep down, it's like you want to have a boy first.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I
And it happened for all of us. It
Yeah, yeah,
happened.
yeah. All three of us had a boy first. I think for
Hmm.
me, I obviously was excited to have a boy first, but I, growing up with a sister and also like my mom, I felt like I didn't understand girls well enough. Whereas like if I have a boy, I can figure it out, right? Like I think it'd be easier. And so when we actually found out that for our second round we were gonna have two girls, I was terrified because I was like, what do I do? Like, I don't know the first thing. Like, I know how to take care of a baby, but I'm like, even like something simple is like, I don't know how to change your diaper correctly because it'd be different.
Hmm.
And so I think part of it for me was that too, just kind of like I don't know, I'm scared to have a girl. Obviously now it's fine, but I get that too. Like it's just kind of innate in a dad to want a son first, right?
Yeah,
It's just kind
for
of
sure.
you're just I don't know what it is, just like passing on all the information that you have as a man, and being able to be there as a father for a son, and being that model for him. Yeah, I think that's just there's something exciting about that, right?
Yeah,
In and of
for
itself.
sure.
And obviously having a girl, it has its own special moments, right? Like I love being a girl dad, and being able to kind of be a protector, but also teaching her how to protect herself, right? Teaching the girls those
For
things. Like
sure.
it just there's no way around it. You're gonna treat the kids different, right? And
Yeah.
that's each kid, even like one girl from the other. I end up treating them differently and then teaching them different things. But yeah, it's exciting, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny.
and I
Like,
remember how excited you guys were too, when we found out it was gonna be a boy. Maximilian, and it was exciting, especially our group of friends. We always get so excited when there's a new baby being
yeah, for
announced.
sure. Yeah, it's so funny because like, we're talking about how like excited to have like boys and stuff in our like first, and now that at least for both Leo and I, we both have
Yep.
boys,
Two boys, yeah.
Yeah.
and like man, for me at least, I was like, man, I can't wait to have a girl at one point.
Yeah.
At one point, because like both of my boys are mama's boys, so
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, I can't wait to have a girl. Hopefully,
Yep. That might not change though. Honestly,
yeah, yeah,
both girls right now, they're all about their mommy. Like I like if she's around and I go to hold one of them, they're like, no, no, I'm going with mommy. Or even if I like give Lily a hug or something, or I'm just like cuddling with her on the couch, they come over and they get me off of her, and they're like, yeah. So,
Give it time. Give it
yeah,
time.
we'll give it time. And right now Toby's all about me, so yeah, it might switch around too for you guys with your eldest sons.
yeah. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping like when I'm just older, they're gonna be like, all right, dad, teach me all the things.
Yeah. I want to come back to something
Yeah,
that you talked about, Reggie. So Eric and I kind of discussed this in our first episode or one of our early episodes about our upbringing. I think you and I have similar upbringings, in terms of our parents being split and not having the best kind of father figure. But despite that, we both had a yearning to be a father. What do you think drive you to that calling despite your upbringing?
I think a little bit of it is to be better than
Mhm.
my dad.
Yeah.
Probably, at least you know, at least a little bit of it is to be better than my dad, and not like to stick it to him or anything.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
But I don't know. I I remember when I was in high school, or when we were in high school, like we were in high school at the same time. When we were in high school, when I did the confirmation talk, one of them,
Who am I?
yeah, and I remember talking about how my mom, she had a bet with my dad that
Mm,
um she had a bet with my dad that I would be better than him, and maybe that's just like deep down a reason why I wanted to be a dad too, is so that in order to be better than my dad, I also had to be one.
yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, but I think that's like a deeper down reason. Like
Yes.
it's not like the reason why I want to be a dad.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, really, it's just to have like it's I. It's definitely not having more Baduas. There's plenty of Baduas in the world. uh, yeah. But I mean, to really just you know to be that, to have that like co-creator,
Mm,
you know,
Mhm.
yeah.
and I think that is really what it is, because I'm not the. It's weird because for a long time I never thought myself a creative, at least not in the traditional sense. But traditional being like, you know, musician or
Mm-hmm.
drawer or
Painting,
whatever.
art, yeah.
Yeah.
Art, yeah.
But in this way, you know, I can bring life and help bring life into the world, you know. And obviously it's the the less painful way for us, being the less painful way, but it's still the you know, helping bring life into the world. And I think that's, you know, the co-creation, the best thing we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
You
think
you and you sorry, you and I had very similar answers. Like I wasn't sure. I didn't want to say that part of me it was, you know, to be better than my dad, but I think hearing you say it kind of helps affirm that and, you know, lets me know that it's okay to kind of feel that way. But also the fact that we just genuinely wanted to have kids of our own, I think that surpasses any of that feeling of wanting to stick it to our dads, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just blessed that, you know, we're at the stage in our lives where we're at now. You know, despite, you know, the upbringing that we had with our dads, or the experience we had growing up with our dads, or lack thereof.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Sorry, Eric.
I think it's also kind of a maybe our generation thing where we are just trying to be better than the generation before us. Because, like I mentioned, like my dad, I love my dad. I think he did a lot of good with me. He obviously had his mistakes, and I take what was good, and then I improve on his mistakes, right? And I just want to be able to be the best father for Toby and move along that way. And I really liked, Reggie, what you were talking about being kind of a co-creator, because I mentioned before the first time I saw Toby after he was born, I thought to myself, this is the closest I'll ever get to the father's love for us. And that was just something that went through my mind. I'm like, this is like just that instant love for something else, and that came from you is just, it's a beautiful thing. And I think also us surrounding ourselves with people that think similarly, right? So like the three of us, each other, our group of friends, we just have that importance in the family life, and it's so exciting to have that community that kind of embraces one another and supports one another in being a father, right? So I think that all has something to do with the importance we relay in being parents, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's something that I heard. I can't remember where I heard it or when. It was sometime between Max and Sebastian.
Mm.
Um, but it was talking about that, the love of God the Father and being a human father.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was talking about how a lot of times we as human fathers feel that love of God the Father, or as God the Father for our children.
Mm-hmm.
And what the person was saying, or whatever, I don't even know if I read it or whatever it was, but they were saying, but think about it in a different way, in that feeling God the Father's love through and from your children, because you might mess up, you might scream, you might
Mm-hmm.
do whatever towards your children, but they're just gonna look to you and say, I love you, daddy, or they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna look up to you, hug you, and whatever, because they forgive you. And it's like,
Yeah.
dang, like that's God the Father's love for us. And I'm like, yo, like that hit me so hard, bro. I was like, whoa, like, because I was like, I don't think I can comprehend God the Father's love, and
Mm-hmm.
not like me doing it, because like I'm me. Like I know what I do, you know, I know what I've done. But then when I see, like, when that when I heard that, I was like, that's crazy, because like it's like in like mercy, like instant
Yeah.
mercy, you know,
Yep.
and it's like instant mercy and nothing but love at the same time. It's like, wow.
Yeah. I love that. Love that.
I wish I remember where I got it from though.
Or like a TikTok or something.
Right. Something random.
I don't have TikTok, so it wasn't that.
IG Reels.
IG Reels.
Threads.
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 Uh,
No, that's wow. I got chills from that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time, like when you, as if you were reading it or hearing it for the first time, Reggie. Yeah, I just reflect, like even just on the day, the things that I could have been better at with Isaiah or Josiah or whatever. Yeah, just it just puts things in perspective and how easily frustrated you can get. But just having to remember, or just thinking about like the way he looks at me, the way Isaiah looks at me when I like raise my voice, he's
mhm.
like just still smiling at me, and like I couldn't do anything wrong,
Mhm.
and I hate. It's like a double-edged sword, right? It's like you hate the fact that they have that power over you, but at the same time, it's such innocence and such like I don't know, such happiness that that they give you. It's like it makes that frustration go away, right? Easily go away. Again, double-edged sword, because if they did something wrong, as an example, then you kind of want to teach them that was wrong, right? But when you're trying to lecture them and they're just smiling back at you, or like not comprehending, or they think you're still playing around with them, it's not really helpful, right? It's kind of counteractive. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think wait till they start talking more
Right. And
and
that's what
they
I was gonna say, Eric.
actually like speak their mind. And like I mean, I get into like very frustrating moments with Toby all the time now because we're like arguing over I
Mm,
don't know something. We're arguing today. He wanted more time on his tablet before bed, but it was time to take a bath, and he was like yelling and screaming and all this stuff. And we finally got him into his bath. He was still crying. He came and Lily gave him his bath today, and I stayed downstairs to clean up. And before bed, he came downstairs to grab his little stuffed Mario, and he gave me a hug and a kiss, and he said, "I love you," and that was it.
mm.
And he went back
Like nothing had
like
happened.
nothing had happened. He just like flipped the switch. He said, "I love you." He went to bed. I was like, "All right," like that kind of like helped me calm down a bit too.
Yeah.
But it's just it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of love that children have, right? And how honestly like it'll bring out the best in you,
Mm.
right? Not saying it's always easy, obviously,
Yeah, no, for sure.
but at the same time, like those little moments where they say I love you or they give you a hug or randomly give you a kiss, like you understand that that yeah, they truly love you, right? Um Now that we've talked about that, I did want to get into the transition from one child to two. Uh, how has that been for you guys? Like Leo, I don't know if you want to start. Think I mean, it's still fresh for both of you. So whoever wants to chime in, like what's kind of the biggest differences in the transition? Like especially in the early first couple months, like what did that look like for you guys?
Yeah, I don't mind starting. The biggest difference I feel like for me is that there's no like trading off with your spouse, right? Like Angel would get up with Isaiah on Saturdays, and I would do Sundays, or we would trade off, or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we would bargain, right? It sounds so bad, right? It's like, but it's like it's one of those we could do because we had one kid, but now that Josiah is here, whom we love dearly, uh, there's none of that. It's like, okay, who do you want? You want Isaiah? Or you want Josiah? And it's like we're both having to do something, right? That and not that it's a bad thing. It's just there's definitely less rest,
Yeah.
less sleep. Um, but despite all that, uh, we've made it work. right? And there are days where an Angel kind of coined or kind of put this in perspective. There are days where we're playing zone, and there are days where we're playing man to man.
Yep.
And that's what it's come down to. But yeah,
That's a great analogy. It's
it
actually
is,
really good.
and I'm mad that Angel came up with it before I did.
What?
But I'm not mad.
That's funny. That's one of Jasmine's cousins said. So Jasmine's brother also had their second baby like 4 weeks before us, like exactly 4 weeks before us. So Jasmine's cousin, who also has two kids, said the same thing. He said from zone. He said it's going to go from zone defense to man on man, man to man. Because I was just like, to me that makes so much sense because like I grew up playing basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the funniest thing. But yeah, I mean, it's funny that you say what you said, Leo, about like who's got which baby, because for me and Jasmine, the constant question we ask each other is, you got Max, I got Bash, or I got Bash, you got Max.
Yeah.
That's like literally like the
Yeah.
question we ask each other all
It's
the
like
time.
a quick huddle.
Yeah. It's like, which one, who you got? I got this one, I got that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's funny because Leo, you literally are still in the first couple months.
Yep.
Isaiah I'm getting their names mixed up already, and there's only two of them. Josiah is exactly 2 months today. And yeah, we're still trying to get our routine done. I think we're in a good spot, in a good place, but always looking for ways to perfect it, especially as Josiah gets older and he's starting to sleep a little better, and this personality is starting to come out. But sorry, Reggie, you were saying something before I interrupted. No. Oh, okay. No worries. The only other thing I was going to add was, now I'm drawing a blank. But what was I going to say? Oh, despite having Josiah so soon after Isaiah, you would think like the stuff that I learned with Isaiah as he was growing up, like the different milestones, the different do's and don'ts, you would think that would come like back like you were riding a bike, or like I was playing the trombone again, but it didn't. I had to like relearn it. Yep. And I heavily relied on Angel to kind of help remind me of what those different things were, because I guess my excuse is that Isaiah is still growing up and he's still learning new things. I'm still learning new things. So when that information's done, I flush it out, and then I'm taking in new information to learn to help raise my firstborn.
Yeah, but I remember that's what I told you, Leo. I was like, I don't remember anything about like raising Max.
You weren't kidding.
That's crazy.
Was that the same experience for you, Eric?
Yeah. I mean, even with Toby though, I just kind of let Lily quarterback and just tell me what to do. It's funny. A mentee couple of ours from the Witness to Love program at church. That means we walk them through their engagement till they get married, and they just had their first kid. So we were talking to them about it, and this was kind of the advice I was giving the guy there, because he was telling me how he feels so like useless sometimes, especially because a newborn like needs their mother way more than it's gonna need you, and like for something as simple as feeding, right? But even then, like they're just gonna cry until they get into their mother's arms sometimes. And he says like he feels so useless sometimes. I was like, you just need to let her quarterback, right? Like let her know that you're there. Like literally everything around the house that you can do it, but kind of let her guide you in what she needs, right? Like just as much as you are trying to take care of this baby, you need to remember like she is your sacrament, right? Like you need to take care of her too. So make sure she's in a good place, that she's able to rest when she needs it. She can eat when she's hungry. Like don't just focus on the baby, right? And I think that's kind of what I took, especially into when we had the twins. So yes, like I could change diapers and stuff, but I don't remember a lot of the stuff from Toby, but I just let Lily guide, right? She's gonna tell me what she needs, and you guys, I mean, Jazz and Angel are also very vocal in what they need. So they're gonna let you guys know, hey, this is what I need, this is what we need to do, and this is how you move forward, right? And
Mm.
so that's why I just kind of, especially those first few weeks, I took kind of a backseat and just let her drive. And then once we got to a point where I could kind of take over more, she started pumping so I could feed the baby and stuff more. Like I kind of started taking on more responsibility then. But yeah, and that's just how our dynamic works too. Like that's just what worked for me and Lily. So yeah, especially since we had twins, it was just kind of like you never had a moment to rest. It's just kind of go go go.
Yeah.
So that was even. I mean, I remember night one with the babies. I think she was just so tired from breastfeeding and stuff with the two girls that at one point we had to substitute formula for the girls. Luckily, they both took the bottle right away, and me and the nurse were able to grab the girls and go into another room just so Lily can relax. And that was night one. I already was figuring out how to be with the two girls by myself
Mm-hmm.
because it's just you you get to that point where you have to take care of, like I had to take care of Lily, make sure she was okay. So I knew in that instance we had to get out of that room. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about how you're just so unprepared the second time around, just as much as you were the first time. Like I think the only thing is you know you can do it this time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you're like I don't remember what to do, but I did at one point, so we'll figure this out.
Exactly. I just I, I just remember like when Sebastian was born at the hospital, I was just like, "Oh, excuse me, nurse. Can you reteach me how to swaddle?"
Swaddle.
Like,
Yup.
I was like, "Yo, I don't remember how to swaddle at all." But also like a little bit me being like, "Can you just change all the diapers for me?"
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
can you just take care of this diaper?" But also a little bit like I don't remember not how to, but like changing a toddler to changing a newborn
It's
was
Mm-hmm.
different.
like
Yeah.
super different. Yeah, like wrestling
Yeah.
versus like picking up a piece of paper almost, you know? Like
Yeah. Wrestling.
I finally
so
just got used to like flangling Isaiah's legs like to the left and to the right. And now here's Josiah like, okay, I gotta like
Be very
tweezers.
careful. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, dude. It's weird because Sebastian is like I swear he's like a toddler already. Dude. He's
Yeah.
about to be 8 months now.
Hmm.
Obviously he's not
Dang.
actually a toddler, but like he's gotten so big. He's like on the move.
Yeah.
Dude eats like nonstop,
Nice.
like food now.
Yeah. That's
Can he
exciting. That's
can he
fun.
can he can he can he sit up now?
He gets sit when he's eating, especially.
Crawling
Like
before he can sit.
yeah, he started crawling before he could sit. He's like a lot better at sitting, but he's not like
Hasn't mastered it.
yeah, he hasn't like mastered it yet, I would say. Um, but he definitely can sit, just not like,
Hmm.
you know, yeah, he's just not like the best sitter, I would say.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
he can do it. But yeah, I mean, the transition having Sebastian was just like wild, like
Yeah.
wild,
I love using that word. It's wild.
Yeah.
wild. Just like having that like that that one-on-one, like having like, all right, today I or at this point in time, I have Sebastian or I have Max and Jasmine has the other one, or I and thankfully, when they're so young, they sleep so much. It helps.
Hmm.
That's like the best
Yeah.
the best part is that
Yeah.
they sleep so much in the beginning.
I,
Um
yeah.
oh go
Yeah.
ahead.
I know we tell a lot of people, especially like young couples that have kids early. I'm like, when they're younger is the best time to like travel or like go places and go out just because they sleep so much. It's actually
Yeah,
really
for
nice.
sure. Yeah. I remember when Max was like 5, 6 months ish, we went to Hawaii not knowing that. We just like went
Yeah.
and we like we met this mom of like two children. One was probably like two-ish, like a big toddler. I don't remember how old. And she told us, she was like, get all your traveling in now because it's so hard when they get once they start walking, it gets so hard.
Yeah.
And like now I see it. But yeah, for sure. Like that's so true.
Um, I want you guys to tell me a little about I know we kind of talked about the dynamic changes, especially with like your spouse. What about the dynamic changes with the sibling now? Like, how did sibling bonding look like with Max and with Isaiah? Like, have they gotten used to the fact that there's this other being around now?
It's funny, like for at least for Max, it's kind of like waves.
Okay.
So like when we took Sebastian home, Max was like the sweetest. Like
Mm.
Okay.
the first thing Max did when he met him was like he literally booped him. He went boop, like right on the nose.
Oh, that's cute.
Um and like we literally like couldn't change Sebastian's diaper without Max trying to come and kiss him. Um and then for a long time, Max would ignore him after that. Like
Mm.
or after the first few weeks or after the first month or so, I would say, Max would just ignore him. Like he wasn't there. Sebastian wasn't there. He didn't exist. So he was just like, oh, he's staying. Never mind.
Mm.
And it was kind of like, I know he's there. Like he's careful around him, but he's
Hmm.
like, he's not like, not cool. And then now he's kind of like, definitely like playing like bigger brother, I would say. Like he's
Okay.
like, not necessarily like bullying him, but like, he's like, oh, get away from me, like it's not as much like ignoring as it was before, but he's kind of like
Acknowledging he's there
he's acknowledging that he's there, but like
by
don't
not
come
wanting
near
him to be there.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But it's kind of like sweet still sometimes. It's like
Yeah.
he kind of like one time I saw him like dap him up. It was like I was like, yo, that's kind of cool. Like he's like, yo, what's up? And then he like then he's like, now get away. Like I saw that you're there. Now leave.
That's
But
funny.
it's like waves. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens next. I don't know what happens next.
Yeah, with Isaiah, uh it's very similar to kind of Reggie's experience in that, when we first took Josiah home, it was a very sweet moment. We didn't know how he was gonna react. We were telling him as he was growing up, despite him being very young still, that there was someone coming home, that he had a brother on the way. And so, who knows if that actually did anything, but when we took Josiah home, he was in his bassinet. Josiah was in the bassinet, and then Isaiah came out, saw him, and Isaiah is a very sociable infant. He loves to interact with little kids and all sorts of people. So with Josiah, it's very natural. But I think very similar that, oh, he's staying here, he's not leaving. Oh, okay, bye, kind of a thing. But I think that was very short lived. He's in a stage right now, and I don't think it's as wavy as probably Max and Sebastian, but yeah, with now with Isaiah and Josiah, he's always looking for baby. That's how he refers to Josiah. He just walks around, baby, 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 like dude, he's sleeping, chill. And when he's crying, he's looking at us like, why didn't you guys do anything? And well, that's not what he says. He just says baby, 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 baby,
Fix 'em.
baby. Yeah, but we know what he's trying to say. And it's whenever Angel is holding him, or whenever we're together, he always wants to be near him. So like if Angel and I are sitting next to each other and then Josiah is like in between us, Isaiah will want to like squish himself in between us, and kiss
Like
his brother.
Kyle.
And I was gonna say, but a lot of people get the reference, but yes, like our friend Kyle. Yeah, he's very sweet right now, and I hope that doesn't change. He's very caring, and he definitely knows that he's here to stay. There was a very sweet moment where Josiah was crying in his bassinet or his pack and play, and and Isaiah was in the room. And when Isaiah heard Josiah crying, he just started grabbing anything he could in the room and just started throwing it in the bassinet, like trying to like comfort him, or I don't know, get him to stop crying. Like, do you need this? Do you want that? And it was just a bunch of stuff. Like, Thankfully, I don't think anything hit him. Right? Cool. But yeah, he was all right. But no, it's. I think their dynamic is, it's very sweet right now, and I hope that doesn't change. That was one of the things we were concerned about with bringing Josiah, or we have no choice obviously in bringing him, but to see how that relationship works out, right?
Mm.
But yeah, I think I always get mixed feedback from people, not mixed feedback, but I get a lot of feedback saying, it's so good that we have them so close in age because they're gonna grow up together and be close with one another. So hopefully that stays true.
Yeah, I think it's what you make of it, right? Like if they're close in age, you push for that, right? For them to be friends. If they're further apart, kind of like Toby and the girls, think you just work on instilling different values, different ideas, right? Like we took Toby a couple months ago to watch the Mario movie, and one of the big things in that movie, one of the big things is Mario's the older brother and he's looking out for Luigi.
Mm.
He's always, and we watched that movie and that was one of the big things he got out of it. He's like, oh yeah, like I'm like Mario, the girls are like Luigi, I have to like take care of them. I was like, yeah,
Dang, that's
like
deep. What the
yeah, right.
That's
and 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 occasionally we do have to kind of get him to like take a step back because the girls at the age now, like they're gonna be two soon, so we're slowly trying to get them to like we're teaching them things, and there's like certain things you can't do, you're not allowed to do, and then Toby will step in and be like, no, you can't do that, and we're like, okay, like let us parent and you take a step back. You're the older brother, like yes, you have some authority, you can help out, but you don't need to parent them, you don't need to tell them what they're doing right and wrong. So there is like these little things that you have to work on with the kids, in their sibling bonding. But yeah, I remember one of the biggest things that we were kind of worried about, and we wanted to focus on when the girls were first born, were making sure that Toby still had attention from
hmm
each of us. And obviously it was more so because twins were coming, so we couldn't just like split one and one. But even then, like I know a newborn takes a lot of time away from the mom, more so than the dad. And did you guys have that at all? Like think about that, and what are you doing to kind of like focus on the older child and making sure they're still have the attention that they need?
I was, I had the same concern. Like if putting myself in Isaiah's shoes,
Yeah.
making sure that he had the same or like just as much attention as he did before. But I think that it's kind of flipped where I'm concerned for myself. I don't know if that's the right thing, but basically making sure that I have enough time for both my boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think for Isaiah, he doesn't really he and for better lack of phrase, he could care less, right? Like he's seeing his mom and dad at a regularly.
Yeah.
We both stay at home. I work from home, Angel stay at home. So that's not like that has changed. So I think it's more so for me, it's like when I was on leave, since Josiah was more with Angel and I was with Isaiah for most of the day because that's how we divided our duties. At the end of the day, when we were winding down or when we got kind of later into the day, like I was like I would miss Josiah because he's uh with Angel all day, and then Angel would miss Isaiah, right? And so we would like switch, make it a point to try and
Mm-hmm.
switch it during the day that so that we would have our one-on-one time with our other boys. So it's interesting, that we were both kind of concerned that Isaiah would feel neglected or have lesser attention when in reality for both Angel and I it was the fact that we would have enough attention to give.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like similar, but like literally like today. Yeah. So Jasmine has like this weird ass work schedule right now. Um, where she like works like 6 to 10, and then she's off from 10 to 3, and then works from 3 to 7. And I get off of work at 3 ish, sometime between 3 and 4. And today I was actually at the office, and I got home around like somewhere like at 3:30 or whatever. And when I got home, I picked up Max, and like I pretty much got home and I took Max and I left, and I had some errands to run. And me and Max, like we went out and we went to the park, we went to the
Mm.
mall, like we did a bunch of stuff, and we got back home or like at 7:30 or 8 or whatever. And like when I got home, I'm like, oh shoot, like I haven't seen Sebastian like since like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
morning when I left. Like, well, that's not true. Like when I got home, Sebastian woke up from a nap literally like right before I was about to leave. And Jasmine was like, oh, do you want to see him before you leave? And I was like, oh yeah, because I haven't seen him since this morning. And I'm not gonna if he didn't wake up, I wouldn't have seen him until like an hour ago.
Tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. So like same thing is like we would definitely be like worried about giving or having enough attention to give versus like being worried about giving enough attention to the older or Smacks or to
Yeah.
Isaiah. Yeah.
And I think it helps that both our boys, Reggie, that both our boys are younger, our older boys than Toby. So maybe it's not
Mhm.
that's not how they would see things or how they would comprehend it. But I guess Eric,
Yeah.
with Toby, did you find that that was the case?
I think with Toby, I mean, we did a good job of kind of splitting up. One of us was with both girls, and the other one was with Toby. And I mean, Toby was very understanding of the situation, and once we got into like a good rhythm, he understood. And it's funny because Lily had mentioned this too, that during the day, because she's at home with the kids, and I'm upstairs working for most of the day. uh she mentions how when it's just her by herself, Toby's a lot better because he
Mm.
understands that she's taking care of the three of them, right? Once I come into the picture, he is like demanding attention with her or demanding attention with me, and he'll like pull us. He's like, "Mommy, I want you to come play video games with me, like play Mario with me, or play fight with me, or be like, Papi, I want you to sit down with me and build Legos." Like he's very vocal in what he needs and who he needs. And it's funny because coming from what you had just said, where you try to spend time with each of the kids, I feel like sometimes I come downstairs at 3 o'clock and I'm just like, I want to spend time with everyone, and I'm like, okay, I spent a lot of time with Toby, I want to go spend time with the girls now, I want to spend time with Iris, and now I want to spend time with Ivy, and I'm almost like breaking it up in
Hmm.
like the 4 hours that I have them from 3 to 7 before bedtime to try
Yeah.
to spend a little bit of time with each of them. And sometimes it's hard because like Toby yesterday, for example, wanted to go swimming, so I took him to the pool. And then we get back, and he was fine. He was relaxed, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna spend some time with the girls, and I go try to play with the girls, and the girls are like, no, we want mommy. Like they're vocal now, where they're like, no, I don't want you, puppy. Like I want to be with mom. And I'm
Mm.
like, oh, okay, fine. Like I haven't spent any time with you, and Lily will do the same thing. And I think that happened yesterday with no, today with Toby, where she's like, I haven't seen you all day. Like, I want to spend time with you. And Toby's like, no, I'm okay by myself. Like, he just wanted to play by himself. So, yeah, once they become more vocal, and I think we've enabled them to kind of be vocal about those things too. Like, what do you want to do, and who do you want to spend that time with? And we try to be flexible in how we approach our evenings with them too. So yeah, it's interesting, but
Ever
Yeah.
evolving.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, I know one thing that Lily had said growing up. So she didn't have a dad growing up, right? He passed away when she was months old, and she had mentioned that she didn't understand how one can love two parents because she grew up with a single mom. And
Mm.
so one of her fears before we had even Toby was that our kids weren't gonna love her, like because she knew that like I was very passionate about being a dad, being a father, and like that was like one of my biggest like passions in life, like something I really wanted to do. And she was more of like, I can be a mom, And so in dating and then going into marriage, like she knew that was something that was important to me and that we were going to do. And I think she felt like she didn't really understand how a kid can love two people like that. And now it's like she's their favorite, and it's pretty funny to see how much they like. She's the, what's it called, like the go-to parent, the default parent. She's the default parent now. So if it ever comes down to it with like the three kids, most of the time they will pick her over me because I'm working most of the day and they're with her. So at the end of every day, I'm kind of the one that feels like I need to catch up. Like she got them all day. And she'll tell me, "Oh, they did this today, they did that today, or they do something new." I was like, "Man, I missed all of that. Like, why didn't you call me? I was just upstairs." Like, and she'll send me pictures and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, okay,
It's
like
different.
yeah, what did I miss out on today? So I kind of like at the end of the day, I'm just trying to not necessarily make up for it, but I don't want to miss a moment, right?
Yeah. No, and I think for all of us, you know, I think we all have, or at least I know I can speak for myself when I'm thankful that, you know, I'm able to work from home or have that flexible schedule. You know, to be able to witness those milestones, to be able to witness, you know, the two boys and their mom interact together with each other, and you know,
Yeah,
our two dogs, just to see how that dynamic plays out, right? And that's a whole nother story, but you know, it's so, I don't know how I would do having, if I were to have to report to an office or like report on site, being away from that. I remember when I had to go back to work for a short period of time before I transitioned to this the job that I'm in now. It was the first time I had to leave Isaiah for, you know, for a very long time. And you know, I was texting Angel like every minute, like send me pictures, send me videos, what am I missing, like what is he doing? Mind you, he was still like 2 or 3 months old, so he wasn't doing a whole lot, but still, like it
yeah,
just being away from that was so difficult. um but now having to be thinking about having to be away for with from two boys, that's, or multiple children, that's, I can't even.
yeah. I know it's crazy. I remember when Toby was born, I was doing still consulting and traveling for consulting. Luckily, our client was in San Diego at the time, but I had to be on site. And so after my paternity leave, uh, the camera that we set up, I was able to see it on my phone. So Lily would text me, "Hey, he's gonna take a nap," and I would just pull him up on my phone and leave him on the desk so I could just watch him sleep because that was all I really got. Right, that was the only way I can watch him in real time. Um, yeah, and that was one of the biggest reasons I just actively looked for a job that was more work from home because I just thinking of having to travel out of state, not just like
Mm-hmm.
go into an office, but to be gone for weeks at a time. That was something I couldn't deal with. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Um,
Yeah, it's so awesome to be able to have like work from home, like the three of us to be able to
yeah,
say we work from home and to have multiple children.
Yeah,
yep,
it's
Like,
so cool.
living the dream.
It's the new norm, man. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, we can get into that a different day, but
yeah. Now with working from home and stuff, I know that technically we're still working, right? And I know Jazz works. Lily's over here trying to. She's actually doing really well with her own business. Um, and aside from sending our kids to daycare twice a week, we also have surrounded ourselves with a really good support system. Do
Mm.
you guys want to talk about kind of like the support system that you have in place? Like I think Reggie, you mentioned that you pick Max up from somewhere. Like what does the support system look like for you in helping like take
oh,
care of your kids and stuff?
oh, I mean, he's here,
Yeah,
like with, I mean, he's home. He's
yeah,
home with Jasmine and me all day. Both of them are
yeah.
here with us all day.
Is your work pretty flexible with that? Do you ever
Yeah,
bring
I
them
mean,
on camera while you're working?
oh no, no,
No.
never. They know that they're here. Like Jasmine's mom and sister will come here every once in a
Mm.
while to help out, especially on days when I go to the office.
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't go to the office like super often, like maybe once a month.
Mm.
But yeah, like every once in a while they'll come by, help out. But especially now with Jasmine's like weird schedule, like I don't know if we need them to come anymore because
Mhm.
like we're like, between sleep and like regular like overnight sleep and nap time and Jasmine shift and all of the things, like we might not even need anybody to come anymore. But yeah, like
Yeah,
in
that's
terms of
true.
like support system, like in terms of like watching the kids, like
Yeah.
it's usually just me and Jasmine. But
Okay. It's good.
And praise you guys, man. That's hard.
That is hard. Yeah.
Yeah, for us, all our family is in San Diego, thank God. But in terms of like just a day to day, when I went back to work, Angel and I were trying to like figure out, what that would look like, who would come and watch, and out of our parents, my mom is the one who's most available. She's retired now, so she has that flexibility. And, when I was going back to work and we were thinking about the schedule, we were like, okay, mom, we need you to come over every single day and you're gonna help us out for like 12 hours and it's gonna be awesome.
Yep.
We quickly dialed that back in because we knew that we didn't want, she's retired, so we want her to be able to enjoy her time. And she would have totally helped out, but we were mindful of that, and so we dialed it back to twice a week, and that's kind of been like the good medium for us, you know uh during those 2 days during the week. Angel's able to do a lot of stuff around the apartment or the house that that she can't normally do when she's watching both the boys on the other 3 days, the other 3 weekdays. Because when I'm in work, I think uh or just sorry, when I'm at work, I'm like, I'm dialed in, right? It's hard for me to kind of step away. I do want to treat it like I am in the office in a sense where that uh I don't want to just be able to step away, but if I have to, then I will, right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I have that flexibility. But and for the most part, Angel's very respectful about that, and I'm thankful that she's willing to kind of take that on herself for most of the week. Um, but yeah, those 2 days that my mom comes over, super helpful. Like today, she was just able to get all the laundry done, which is, oh my god, 2 kids, 3 kids laundry. I can't even imagine what's gonna be like a 3 kids. Uh, but yeah, just different things, like different tasks like that around the house. It's super helpful to have, and
Yeah.
my mom gets to be able to spend time with her grandkids, which she loves.
Yeah.
And just seeing that interaction is so awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we Lily's mom is awesome. She comes 3 times a week. She comes Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Tuesday and Thursday the kids are at daycare. So it's kind of, and right from the get go, right when the girls were born, we're like, we need a support system around us. We need help, and luckily, like we had them. We had a lot of you guys too that would come and help when they were first born. And it was really nice to have that, and even like some of the younger kids at like confirmation, like some of the people that would help out like on the court team and stuff, they've offered like, oh, like we'll babysit,
No.
and yeah, early on it's allowed us to like be able to go out, and yeah, having a church support system also very cool. I'm able to take Toby with me to like confirmation class or to like some of the court team meetings, and everyone knows him. It's like everyone's like, "Hey, Toby," and they'll like help, like even watch him sometimes. They'll play with him while like I'm like in a meeting or we're doing like a plan for a retreat or something. Like it's really cool to see, and also to be part of an active faith community that's so open to life, right? And where it's not a problem to bring your kids around. So just, and I tell people like, if you invite me, like expect me to have to bring a child with me, right? Like
a child will be
my
there.
my
yeah, a
plus one.
child will be present. And I remember, I think it was maybe like a year and a half ago. So I had Toby and the girls had just been born, and a bunch of like old coworkers were getting together to do like brunch or something, right? And I was like, I'll go, but I'm bringing my son with me. And Toby like just sat there and he ate his eggs and everything, and it was funny, but I'm like, I'm letting them know like, hey, like I'm like, family's important to me, so I'm gonna bring a kid with me. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, like there's gonna be a kid around,
Mm.
and just being able to kind of be firm in that, and also have a support system, and let everyone know like this is how it is. I think it's really helped, right? Um, One thing I wanted to talk about is not necessarily about parenting, but kind of the self care. Um, for me, I put a lot of importance in self care, especially with 3 kids. Um, have you guys been pretty diligent about taking care of yourselves too, now that you have 2 kids? No.
The cardio I get is from
Like,
chasing Isaiah and holding him when we're out, and that's not often.
yeah, I know. Did you? I know it's harder with 2 kids, but did you put an importance on self care when you had your first kids?
No.
Yes.
One said no, the other said yes. Yeah, I remember
Um,
Reggie. You were biking a lot, right?
yeah. So, well, literally, so before Max was born, I was biking a lot, and then like a week before, or once Jasmine became what's it called, when she was full term,
Mm.
I stopped biking because I was doing a lot of like what's it called, it was gravel biking, so it was off road and stuff,
Oh yeah,
and I didn't want to be like miles away from my car,
yeah,
and then and Jasmine's like, hey, I'm in labor. So I
yeah.
was like, okay. And then also like the same day I decided that, I realized my wheel got messed up, so like
Mm.
I literally haven't been on my bike since like Max was in Jasmine's womb. So
Yeah.
it's been a long time. But after Max was born, I started doing jujitsu, but I haven't been able to pick it back up since
Hmm.
Sebastian was born.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I will say with Isaiah, Angel and I were, we were both working out, we were both active, we were
Hmm.
dieting. One for ourselves, but two, it was also part of the regimen, I guess, that we had put in place. Because before we knew Angel was pregnant with Isaiah, we were, having trouble conceiving, and one of the things was, you know, getting a little more active and
Hmm.
dieting. So we were really good at that. And then, along comes Isaiah, and then everyone's like, what can I bring you to eat? Or have you eaten yet? Or, let me bring you
Yeah.
some food. And I'm like, dang, like, come on, man. But also, I was like, yeah, bring me
Yes,
some kind of
please.
fries. Like, bring me bring me some wings. Like, I don't care.
Everything.
Like, everything. I'll eat anything. And it was all downhill from there. So
Well,
yeah, no, there's like really no excuses on
yeah.
my end. It's just I've
Yeah.
been lazy. This is
Well, not only self care in the sense of like trying to be healthy or eat better, but like, what about like making time for yourselves, or just like with each other, with you and Jazz, or with you and Angel?
mm, yeah. I mean, before just I was gonna combine Isaiah and Josiah. Why do we name them the similar names? Before Josiah was born, uh, we Angel and I would often, not often, we would occasionally go out. We would get a sitter, or it was mostly Desiree or my mom. But like he was like Isaiah would be down for the night, and then we would go out.
Mm.
Now it's a little more challenging with Josiah, but we would. I think he'll get to a point eventually, right, where he's sleeping overnight, hopefully,
Hmm.
and we'll be able to have those date nights again. But I think for Angel and I, even just being able to be together as one family and share a meal, whether it's at home or you know going out, that's kind of the, I guess, the self care that her and I like cherish and appreciate. Like, there are gonna be plenty of moments where her and I can get together by ourselves and um have a date. But the time we have
Hmm.
with our kids, it's we know it's gonna be limited, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like super depressing when you like speak it out, but it's true though, right? One day they're gonna grow up and they're gonna be too cool for you, or they're gonna be like, doing their own thing, right? So it's really about, cherishing the present.
Yeah. I think one one thing that we did, especially when the kids were younger, is not stop like going to certain places that we enjoyed going before the kids. Like restaurants, for example, right? Like we go to that all you can eat sushi spot when they were little. Like
Mhm.
we're gonna continue doing that. Me
Mhm.
and Lily, we both really like movies. So here's a helpful tip for a lot of parents. A lot of theaters actually have what's called crybaby matinees, which is matinee like at 10 or 11, half price, and you can bring in your babies. So what they do is everyone knows that it's there's going to be children around. They actually lower the volume of the movie that you're watching, and they leave the lights on in the back, and they put out changing tables for you. So you can actually like go with your
Oh,
kids.
dang.
There's a movie you really want to watch, like you can go with your kids and watch it. I remember I did it a few times with Toby when Lily and I we did our leaves. We separated them so we'd be more time with Toby at home. I remember when she was back at work and I took my paternity leave. I took him all the time to the crybaby man. I didn't even care what movie was there. I was like, I'm just gonna go to the movies with him, and or I mean we're in San Diego to go to the beach, right? And like I mentioned, like going to a restaurant and stuff. Um, and we typically will stick to the restaurants that have little like finger foods that they can eat, like Korean barbecue, like all the side dishes. Yeah,
Banchan, yeah.
the girls take them all. They love their fish cakes.
Yo, those Korean barbecue spots, they don't know how much money they're leaving on top of this,
I
dude.
saw this right. Yeah, no, and now I'm going a little off topic. The Korean barbecue place by us actually has a little robot now that brings you food, and the girls just love it. Every time the robot goes by, they're like waving at it, saying hi, and it's almost like
Oh, yeah.
a little trip for them to go there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But it's pretty funny. But I think those are kind of the like self care that we try to keep doing is like
Gotcha. Okay.
we don't lose ourselves just because we have kids.
Mm.
And I know that also sounds kind of weird because a lot of people like focus on their kids and that's fine too. It's just it for us, for Lily and I, that like a lot of those things are really important. Especially now that they're at daycare Tuesdays and Thursdays. Again, going back to having a flexible schedule. Luckily, Lily and I are able to like go out to lunch, just the two of us sometimes now, or we'll go to like an early matinee on a Tuesday, which is actually half off of half price. So it was like super cheap. It was like $5.
Half off of half off.
Yeah, and
Isn't
it's
that
five.
100%?
It's $5 and it comes with a
Or-
coffee.
Oh,
So
Angelica.
Angelica, yeah, and it's pretty cool. So like I'll take a 2 3 hour break in the middle of the day, and then I'll just make up those hours at night after the kids go to bed, just so I can spend time with just Lily, right? And I think as your kids get older, also that gets easier to do. Um, Lily and I just went to Comic-Con this past weekend. We sent like Toby with her mom, and my parents stayed with the girls, and we're like, all right, we're gonna head out, right? And kind of do something that we love to do for ourselves, and and as they get older, you can then start sharing those things with them. So day two of Comic-Con, we actually took Toby with us,
Mhm.
and
We saw that.
it was almost more exciting to be able to see how excited he was to be at Comic-Con and take pictures with all the different superheroes, and it was like he was at an amusement park, and sharing those little things with him now is exciting. Like obviously I have like a passion for music. He's getting into the drums. I love playing video games. We play games together now. So little by little, like you kind of find yourself again in that childlike like fun that they have, and you almost feel like a kid again enjoying those things with them.
Mhm.
So it's honestly like both Lily and I agree, like as the kids get older, it's just gotten better, and
Yep.
we love it. Like every day is just
Bless you.
is better and better, and
Make it.
and I'm not to say that it was bad before, but it's just like we're like transitioning from just being in like survival mode where we have to like make sure that everyone's okay and that the kids are fed and all this, to like, okay, we're enjoying more, right? Like we can share that stuff. So I think that kind of not losing ourselves in it all really held up now, and we're kind of receiving the fruits of that.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for all of us, and I'm excited to be journeying through all this with you both.
Yep.
Yeah, just looking forward to what the future has in store for us, and our girls will come, Reggie. Our girls
Yeah,
will
your
come.
girls will come. Yeah.
One day, one day.
One
Yeah.
day, one day, one day.
No, and even then, I think it's really awesome having you guys just to talk about these things with, because I feel like I'm not alone in feeling this excited about being a dad, right? And because a lot of times, especially like at work and stuff, you'll hear people be like, oh, like I have to go back to my family and do this, and a lot of complaining happens, and I'm like, I'm just excited to be back with my kids,
Yeah.
and having friends like you guys that think the same way. It just, I don't know, it's uplifting, right? And also knowing that as our kids grow older, like Toby's gonna have two excellent role models of what it means to be a man, what it means to be a father, that they can look up to. That doesn't have to be me, right? Like we can share that, and like I love your boys, and I hope I can be that for them as well.
It's the next gen, man. They're the next gen.
Yeah, gotta take care of them.
What are they? Class of like 44 now or something?
Oh God,
Dude.
class of 44. That's great.
Well, I mean, Toby's probably like class of 42. He's a couple years older, but
I was like trying to do the math. I don't know.
I'm not even gonna try. I just threw a number out.
All right. Well, it's getting late, so anything final you want to say about having multiple kids?
Keep having more.
I was gonna say,
Keep going.
do it. Highly recommend.
Yeah. I don't know what it's like to have two, but three ain't that bad.
Oh, whatever.
I heard after three you just don't notice what's happening anymore. It's all the same from three and up.
I'm already mixing up Isaiah and Josiah, and I can't even. I don't know what it's gonna.
Yeah. I for sure empathize with all, like my parents, all the aunties and uncles that mixed up my name with my siblings, our dogs, all of the things.
Yes, I call Mont Isaiah and Isaiah Mont now, and these are things I used to make fun of my mom for, and now she loves to point it out that I'm doing it now, and it's terrible.
It's great.
But hey, Reggie, thank you for joining us. I hope this isn't the last time we see you here. It's been great having you on here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I'm always ready. So
always ready. Every week will be Theo and Tito's podcast.
Theo and Titos. Theo and Titos.
We'll figure it out. But yeah. Thanks for coming on, Reggie.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
All right.